Hi there, I'm Eddie Matthews from the Stratford and District Chamber of Commerce. Pleased to be able to speak with Mayor Martin Ritsma about a few things that are happening in and around Stratford. Your Worship, good to see you.
Thank you, Eddie, and thanks for this opportunity.
Well, it's good to chat and see what's going on. And I know the city of Stratford is moving ahead with plans to revitalize the old Grand Trunk Railway property. City Council recently approved the appointment of former Mayor Matheson as chair of the ad hoc Grand Trunk Renewal Committee for a 2-year term. When can we see things starting on this whole project now?
Well, I think, there's certainly a lot going on behind the scenes, and this project's been underway for years upon years. If you, right behind me, is a photo that I found here at City Hall, and I had it framed, and is of the Grand Trunk site, probably late 50s, early 60s. So that work has been going on under the former Mayor Matheson for many, many years, but a big step was achieved with regards, I believe, naming that chair. That solidifies the fact that, yes, we're serious about taking input from residents. We have some amazing residents in our community that want to give input. And so to that end, I saw you at market on Saturday, and there were so many people that came by and said, thank you. That's a good step. That's an important step. And so the next step certainly will be that of, applications going out over the next, or people picking up applications over the next, I'd say 2 weeks before the clerk's completely ready with that. And then we'll start receiving those back in again. There's so much. I've got so much to tell you about this project. I was down at the Gaslight District.
Wasn't that something? This
Yeah,
is in Cambridge. We'll let people know what's going on there. This is the old, it used to be a little market, some shops, but it's right by the Drayton Hamilton Theater. And it's absolutely spectacular with restaurants, wine bars, big screen, TV.
So if people want a little hint of what possibly, and that's a smaller scale compared to the footprint we're looking at, but certainly just auspicious when you get inside that, the old foundry, I believe it is, it's just exceptional. And so your mind just races with regards to opportunities at the Grand Trunk District, the location. I've spent time in Ottawa and at Queen's Park, and people will say, the city owns 18 acres in the core or close to the core. Wow, what potential, whether I'm talking at Queen's Park, or with MP Nader in Ottawa, they're just, and it is a beautiful site and so much potential. That's the beauty of it, is the potential.
And like you say, this area is huge. It's really bigger than the downtown core. What is public so far about what's going in there? I think we all know the university is definitely going in there.
Yeah, certainly. And let's take the university to start. That institution, amazing institution, has grown so rapidly. We're tipping into almost 1,000 students, and some were living in town, but COVID really put a challenge in with regards to availability of housing. So the big piece, and we've had conversation with president of University of Waterloo, and the big piece there is to build capacity for youth to stay in Stratford, because most are, I'd say 95% are commuting up and down the highway from Waterloo and beyond, but build a residence. So not only do they stay and are, here while they're being educated, but more importantly, get an understanding and a flavor of Stratford, and perhaps, live in Stratford post-education, because we know our demographics, here is one of the highest with regards to age in all of Ontario. So to provide an opportunity for the safety of youth coming and living in Stratford, not commuting, the environmental piece is huge there, but then maybe them thinking, Stratford is a great place, to live and work, and perhaps, stay and be part of the community.
Yeah.
So that's the first, and the next main anchor will be the renewal or of the YMCA. That has so much potential, whether it ties back to the university, whether it ties to our seniors community, the former SLA. Well, I believe they still are SLA. Whatever amenities, housing that goes on that site. If we can tie in recreation, and I know, Eddie, how important that is to the lives of individuals, mental health, physical health, all that. So those are our two key anchors. And then, I think a lot of good recommendations will come forward from the advisory committee and other private enterprise that look at it and say, have you thought of this? And, and the other piece that is so exciting, it's not only what's, on this side of the railroad tracks and this side of Downey, but on the periphery, there is property there waiting, whether it's the old Dominion House, the old Avon Hotel. There is property there that's just waiting to see, okay, how can we connect to that historic renew at the Grand Trunk?
This committee is, I'm glad it's coming out, and folks, if you want some details about getting on it, or if you think of somebody that would be terrific on it, more details are available on the city's website if you want more details
Absolutely.
about that. Yeah. Hey, before I let you go, I got another meeting that you have to be at. The city also had some news to share from the federal government about the investment of, what is it,
96,000.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
support Stratford and a bit of transition for transit. How is this going to help? Because I'm glad we've got that, but it's just a fraction of what an electric bus would cost.
Yeah, that's true enough. But if you have to have a plan in mind if you're going to move forward, and certainly we know that our biggest plan is the reduction of 30% by 2030. Council adopted that, and the work of our climate action, SEDEF Galib, those things are important, but only if we back them up with some tangible movement. And so Mike Mosley, we know that a lot of the challenges with regards to greenhouse gas emission is tied up in transportation and our buildings. So Mike Mosley is on top of this, and he presented at council, I believe it was July the 9th, the energy modeling result with regards to looking at electrification of our fleet. And as you said, we currently have a fleet of, I think, 15 diesel buses, 40 footers, and 5 smaller buses. And when we look at replacement of buses, that's one thing, where right now it's today's dollars of 1.5 million for an electric bus versus a diesel that's around 700,000. But it's more than just the physical bus. We need infrastructure to charge those buses, to house those buses. So that all with with this survey, this project, that if we're going to move forward, we need some good information. And so we were fortunate enough to receive 96,000 from the federal government. City will add another 20% to that, and then it will, we'll come back with a plan. And you can't really do something without a plan. And so I'm really excited about that because, I look at the electrification and where we are now compared to where we will be in 2 and 3 years. I think we'll have longer range buses, which will reduce the fleet, because right now on technology, it's hard to go 1 for 1 because buses have to charge. And especially we're looking in our climate, we're looking at energy use for air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter. And, what do? You run a small auxiliary diesel engine for to run those pieces. But a lot of, a lot of good news, and we'll tap into some things that we never thought of. And, I was talking to Jeff Graham from Festival Hydro the other day. How do they figure in on this piece as well? Because that's part of their mandate as well. So I'm glad we have received the dollars, and we'll move move forward with gaining more information as to what it looks like with regards to purchasing buses and what's the infrastructure for those buses look like.
Mayor's always available, always helpful to make time. You can either get him at his regular job or at his other office, which is Saturday mornings at the market, flipping sausage and egg. Martin, good to see you. And well, next time I hope we can talk taxes and a few other things as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're absolutely spot on. I know on Saturday morning somebody approached me, multiple people, but I know I shouldn't be asking you this, but, and then they go ahead with me.
Yeah.
They don't stop at the but. And certainly I entertain questions and I appreciate people's questions and try to give an answer. And if I don't, then I will direct them to somebody that can. So thanks for this opportunity,
Yeah.
Eddie.
Good to see you. Mayor Martin Ritsma joining us. I'm Eddie Matthews from the Stratford and District Chamber of Commerce.